Am I the a-hole for not wanting my boyfriend to factor my son's survivor benefits into our new household budget? My 38 female, son 15 male receives $1,100 a month in Social Security survivor benefits from his late father, who passed away when my son was 5. My boyfriend 40 male and I have been in an on-again, off-again relationship for a long time. Things have been good recently, and he's proposed. We're planning on getting a house together. I have my son, and he has 3 children, but only one of his kids would be living with us full-time. The house we are looking at is $2,500 a month. My boyfriend's proposed budget is for him to pay $950, for me to pay $950, and for us to use $600 from my son's check for the household. He suggests we can then put the remaining $500 from the check into savings. My current practice is to give my son half of his check, $550, for his personal use, and save the other half for him. I think that since he's almost 17, he should have some control over his money. My boyfriend disagrees completely. He thinks that since we are going to be a family, all the money should be pooled together for shared expenses. He thinks I'm wrong and selfish for not wanting to include the survivor benefits in the main budget. We've been going back and forth on this, and I'm feeling incredibly uncomfortable with his expectation. I feel like the benefits are my son's and should not be used to reduce the adult's portion of the bills. It feels like he's trying to make me subsidize the household using money that was meant for my son's care and future, not to pay his own share of the bills. Am I wrong here? Is it selfish to keep my son's check separate and manage it for his benefit alone? Or is my boyfriend's financial expectation a red flag for our future together? So he wants to pay $950 and wants you to pay $1,500? Is his child going to kick in $550 a month too? Is your child going to be on the deed for his contributions to the mortgage? Not the a-hole. If you do this, he'll find a way to get the other $500 some way. He has 3 kids. He for sure is paying child support begrudgingly, to be sure, and thinks it's his right to recoup that money, since OP's son lives there. Frankly, OP, this is a huge red flag and says a lot about this guy's character. Not the a-hole. Also, if you should pay a portion, the boyfriend should pay a portion, and OP's son should pay a portion. What about the 3 kids from the boyfriend? If we are going by his logic and the kids should be putting into the fund, why are his kids not contributing, especially the one that will be with them full-time? This is the argument that I have, but he's saying that I'm wrong for this. I'm totally willing to cut off the relationship behind us. I just wanted you guys' opinion so I could show him that I'm not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong. He is just trying to get you to sacrifice your son's benefits for his benefit. You're the a-hole if you stay with this guy. No one is entitled to those survivors' benefits except your son. How much of her or his savings is the boyfriend's kid going to contribute? Nothing, right? Boyfriend sees a way to pay part of his rent using your son's money. Hell no. You need to dump this jackass now. Right, and I'm totally willing to cut the relationship off about this, and after reading all of the comments, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and end it, even if he backs off his statements after seeing this. I'm so proud of you, honey. You totally got this. Just imagine how much more calm life will be when it's just the 2 of you. Thank you. Luckily, we don't live together now, and honestly, I'm happy. This conversation came up today, and it's making me rethink everything. I'm gonna give him back the ring and call everything off. Everyone just reinforced what my gut told me. I'm not crazy and it's wrong. Before I made this post, I was really feeling like it wasn't gonna work and this would be my hill to die on. But all of these comments really opened my eyes. I gotta work on my people-pleasing tendencies and start trusting my gut. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take my husband back after he left me for another woman, even though he says he made the biggest mistake of his life? I, 31 female, have been married to my husband, 33 male, for 7 years. We had what I thought was a good marriage. We traveled together, had weekly date nights, did everything together, and supported each other through most things. The only real struggle we faced was trying to have a child. We spent years going through tests, treatments, and endless disappointments, which was emotionally exhausting for both of us. I sometimes blamed myself for not being able to give him the family we both wanted, but he always reassured me that he loved me no matter what. Then out of nowhere 3 months ago, he told me he needed space and moved out. 2 weeks later, I found out through a mutual friend that he was actually living with another woman, someone from his gym. At first, I thought maybe he fell in love and that I should just let him go. But then I learned who she really was. This woman had a reputation in town for hard partying. She had been arrested for drug possession twice, had crashed her car while driving under the influence, and had lost custody of her own kid. My husband knew all this, but still chose her. I'm assuming he was doing drugs too. I was completely crushed. Then he stopped answering my calls, stopped paying bills, which we were splitting, and meanwhile I was dealing with panic attacks, insomnia, and a health scare completely on my own. Eventually, I moved out of our marital home, started therapy, and tried to build a better life for myself. Fast forward to last month, his relationship with her blew up. She got arrested again, apparently stole money from him and trashed his car in some big fight. He came crawling back, crying at my door and clearly on drugs. He said he made the biggest mistake of his life, that he let temptation ruin a perfect marriage, and that he's a changed man. He begged me to forgive him and even brought my mom into it, asking her to convince me. He said countless times that he'd end himself if he can't be with me. And here is the twist. I don't hate him. Quite the opposite. I still love him. He was the nicest person that anybody could ever meet. He cared about me a lot. I'm not talking about normal love, but rather a deep mutual love. I made a lot of mistakes too, and he tried his best to keep our relationship going. My mom thinks I should forgive him because marriage means working through hard times. My dad said he didn't come back because he loves you. He came back because he has nowhere else to go. Now some of our old friends are calling me cold for not even considering a reconciliation, saying people make mistakes. But I just can't imagine going back to a man who abandoned me when I needed him most and chose someone who put his entire life into chaos. He said something that stuck in my mind. All I wanted was a baby. I still can't get over it to this day. He still shows up at my door, stays until morning, cries all night, then leaves, and keeps apologizing. I haven't called the police or anything. Even though he made terrible decisions, he's not somebody that would harm me in any way. I just feel like crap for not taking him in. I'm confused and still trying my best to keep my life together. Tell me please, am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Hell no. Tell your dad he's awesome and right. Tell your mom you don't have to put up with this crap and that you deserve better. Don't tell your ex anything except maybe to buzz off. Not the a-hole. My dad has always been there for me since day one and has never really liked him or approved of him, but I don't know what it is about this man. Maybe it's the fact that we share so many cherished memories. Maybe it's also the fact that I'm scared to be alone. Is that such a crazy thing to think? Ever since I was a kid, I'd always dreamed of marrying one man and being by his side for our entire lives, just like my parents. But recently, my life has been flipped upside down, and I'm just scared to take the next step, even though it's the right thing to do. Men know men's BS, just like women can pick up on other women's BS. I am a woman with brothers, and I think they've always been able to tell if a guy is no good, just like I could see their girlfriend's flaws. Besides that, this ex of yours basically told you that abandoning you for a strange woman and drugs was a reasonable choice because he only wanted a baby. Even if he learns and grows from this, what's the next step for him? Stay with you until a more stable and more fertile woman comes along? I hope you've gotten tested for STIs, because I am venturing a guess that he started using drugs and sleeping with this woman before he left you. So he may not intend to harm you, but he may have done so already. The only question you need to ask yourself is, would you ever be able to fully trust him again? If the answer to that is no, then you need to walk away. To all your naysayers out there, I would ask each and every one of them, what would you do if tomorrow your spouse came home and told you they don't want to be with you anymore, and then went and started doing hard drugs and living with someone else? Then to your mother specifically, I would say, how many times have you cheated on dad? Since you're so comfortable with cheating, I'm assuming it's you? Then watch as she gets flustered, say, that's what I thought, and leave it at that. Only you get to decide how your story goes. Anyone who no longer fits can easily be written out. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my grandpa not to send any child support anymore? My parents have been divorced for a while now, and to be honest, neither of them is doing great financially. My dad doesn't have a job, a house, a car, or really anything in his name. He just lives off my grandpa's money and doesn't seem to be working toward being independent. My mom isn't in much better shape. She has 4 kids, me and my 3 half-siblings, and she struggles just to keep the household running and pay the bills. Because of the custody arrangement, I split my time between my mom's house and my grandpa's house, where my dad also lives. It's 1 week with my mom, then 1 week with my grandpa and dad. My grandpa's always been generous. Even though he isn't legally obligated to, he sends my mom $1,000 every single week to help with child support. It's not court-ordered since he isn't my dad, but he does it to make sure I have what I need when I'm living with my mom. A little while ago, I was staying at my mom's house and we went out shopping for school supplies. While we were out, I saw a nice backpack that I really liked and asked my mom to buy it for me. She immediately said no, explaining that she was already buying new backpacks for my siblings and couldn't afford to get me one too. She told me that if I really wanted a new backpack, I could just ask my grandpa to buy it for me, since, in her words, he has the money. That really bothered me. I told her that technically I was asking my grandpa already because the $1,000 he gives her every week is supposed to go toward supporting me as well. If she's using that money, shouldn't some of it go toward my needs too? She got angry and called me a brat for even saying that. She told me she wasn't going to buy the backpack and that was the end of the conversation. I was frustrated and upset, so when I got back to my grandpa's house, I told him what happened. I asked him why he was sending her money if she wasn't going to use it on me but instead on her other kids. My grandpa was pretty upset when he heard this. He said if that's how things are, he's not going to send her money anymore. He told me that if I need something, I should just ask him directly and he'll buy it for me instead of sending money through my mom. Now my mom is furious with me. She says I'm an ungrateful little brat and that because of me, my siblings won't have extra money for school supplies or clothes. She thinks I ruined things for everyone by going to my grandpa instead of just dropping it. She was using the money for all her other expenditures and refused to get your school backpack? But your grandfather meant it to be used for you, right? Yeah, I'm his grandchild, not the others. Not the a-hole. Can you live with grandpa full-time? I don't know. I'm 15. Haven't been to court in a while. Maybe if we do, they'll respect my opinion this time. Just grab your stuff and move in with your awesome grandpa. Let her challenge it and failing by the receipts. Glad you've got this haven and protector. Maybe grandpa could put the $2,000 in a savings account in your name each month to build up a little fund for you to use later. That way he knows his money will be going directly to you. I already have a saving account. He puts way more than $2,000 a month in it. He only gave this money to my mom because I told him I hate living with her because she can never afford anything. We can't even get food from McDonald's. Last story. 2-part question. Am I the a-hole for 1, telling my wife I'm done? And 2, for what I said following the backlash of first part? Me, 36 male, and my wife, 32 female, have 2 boys together. My wife did have some gender disappointment with our second son, who is now a year old, as she really wanted a girl. She got over it quickly though. After the birth of our second son, I expressed that 2 was comfortable and enough for me and that I didn't want any more kids. Again, this was met with disappointment, but she ultimately said that, financially and living space-wise, having more than 2 would be a hassle, and she got over it, though I still made it clear 2 was enough for me. I ended up getting a large promotion at work, and we recently bought a new place that has an extra bedroom, which I was happy for, as I now have a proper office space. I work from home. We are still in the process of buying this property and haven't yet moved in. She brought up the fact that now we have more money and an extra bedroom, that we could have another baby. Quick point, she knows this extra bedroom is for my office, not another child. I again explained to her that 2 was enough for me and that I still didn't want any more kids. She got upset and told me how desperate she was for a girl. I told her realistically, even if we did try again, there was still a 50-50 chance of having another boy. Again, I repeated myself that I was done having kids and that our 2 boys are enough. She has continued to be upset and bring it up constantly and even got a little demanding about it, to the point where I had to get stern and tell her, please drop it. I don't want any more children. Naturally, she's told her friends, and they think I'm being selfish. Even my own mom thinks trying for another child that could be a girl would be a nice idea. But I don't know how many more times I can repeat myself. I went on to say, in front of one of her friends who was hounding me when she visited us a couple of days ago, can you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot? Say we had 2 girls, and I was demanding we keep having babies until we had a boy, but she didn't want any more kids. Can you imagine the grief I would receive for being like that? Me saying that was then met with even more backlash, and I ended up leaving the room. I do not want more children. I've been so clear about that since the birth of our second. Not the a-hole. Not wanting more kids is a completely valid boundary, and you've been consistent about it since your second son was born. If you don't want more, that has to be respected. You're also not the a-hole for what you said to her friend. You just pointed out a clear double standard. If you were the one pressuring her for just one more until you got the gender you wanted, people would call you selfish or controlling. Saying it out loud only made people uncomfortable because it's true. I would be lying if I said I haven't noticed online that when women suffer from gender disappointment, they're met with support. But when men express some standard gender disappointment, and I don't mean aggression or anything like that, because yes, that's totally unnecessary, they're usually met with backlash. So, thanks for understanding that the point I made was true. I just had to say it. Not the a-hole. I think your marriage is over. Thank you. I wouldn't say my marriage is over, though. I love her and she loves me. We're not breaking up over this, but she's just so upset. I think it's just suddenly really hit her that we're not going to have any more children, even though I've been transparent about that since his birth when it was first brought up. I should be clear. We have spoken since I said what I said, and she said she does see my point, but it's going to take her some time to get over this. I told her to take the time she needs and that I love her. She said she loves me too. We're adults. We've been together for a long time, and we're not divorcing over this. But she needs time to process this, and I get that. I just wondered if people thought I was selfish or being the a-hole for this situation as a whole.